Welcome to the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Perda. I'm a life and marriage coach for moms, wife, mom of 3, and I'm also an Aries, and for my fellow human design nerds, a sacral manifesting generator. This podcast is for women who want to be happier in their marriage as they navigate their journey through motherhood, even if you're like me and you weren't shown how while growing up. Inside, we're going to be talking about breaking generational cycles when it comes to how to handle conflict in healthy ways, redefining motherhood your way, and prioritizing your well-being, because here, we believe that women don't have to sacrifice their happiness to be a great mom. And a quick note to mamas listening with kids around, you may want to pop your earbuds in because nothing is left unsaid on this show, which means there may be times where something I say isn't meant for little ears. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. Today, I wanted to talk about what your marriage needs most. Okay, like the mostest. So many couples have the same experience after becoming parents. It's pretty jarring to become parents, right? No one actually fully prepares us or equips us with what we need to know and to be able to do to actually enjoy marriage while we are helping this helpless child or multiple children thrive in life. Okay, so the common experience is that couples grow apart, they start to argue more often, they forget how to have fun together, and marriage just goes on the back burner, right? Now, this doesn't happen overnight, okay? Like a lot of times people look back and you're like, how did we get here, right? It seems like time passed by so quickly and all of a sudden you don't even recognize your relationship at all. But it doesn't happen overnight, right? This happens in the small decisions that are made from moment to moment, right? And one day or months or years later, you wonder by looking back because you finally look up and realize, like, why are things so different now, right? Why are things so bad that we're avoiding talking about the important stuff because you just want to stop fighting, right? How did things get so bad that you don't bother trying to go on dates, hang out alone together because you forgot how, or you want to avoid the awkwardness because it's been so long, or you don't want to create another opportunity for a fight to come up, right? So you avoid each other and you use your time and your energy doing other things that come more naturally to you, that feel more enjoyable, easier, right? Like taking care of the kids, working, doing home projects, playing games on your phone, scrolling social media, binge watching Netflix, right? Anything and everything to make the time pass and make you forget about how much you miss the fun you used to have together, right? And how lost you feel in your marriage. So I wanted to share what your marriage actually needs from you to go back to how it used to be and be even better than that, okay? Because your marriage can be enjoyable while you raise kids, and this topic is fresh on my mind because it was inspired by a call with a client that I had this morning, okay? When I first met her and her husband on Zoom, she and her husband could barely look at each other during the call. Like, if the camera could capture a wider lens of what I could see, they would be sitting much farther apart. But you know how Zoom works, right? You kind of gotta fit in the screen, but you could totally feel the disconnect through the computer, okay? They are having trouble with communication, connection, and the stress of being working parents. They have 2 daughters, okay? Now, almost 3 months later, she has shared today that their marriage feel like it's done a complete 180, okay? It's flip-flopped for the positive. She feels awesome about the progress that they are making, and she feels like they're closer together than she's ever felt. She feels like a totally different person. She knows how to handle her emotions and stress better. She can be honest and have real emotional conversations that they used to avoid. Okay, so they very much kept things on the surface to avoid things getting out of hand. And now she's telling all her friends who are in similar situations as she was a couple months ago how impactful our work has been for her, and that marriage does get to be enjoyable and get better over time. Okay, so I've definitely had her come over onto my side of things and in becoming a believer that marriage doesn't have to feel miserable and it doesn't have to be hard all the time. Okay, obviously there are hard moments, but there are things that you can do to help you navigate the hard with more resilience, with more preparation, confidence, okay, more support. So I wanted to take some time today to peel back the curtains and share exactly what led to this progress that she and I were celebrating on our call today, because while her situation is unique to her life, I regularly hear some version of this from my clients. Okay. The work we do together helps their marriage do a 180. And I hear those exact words. Okay. It's not even like some different versions, like verbatim. They will tell me that our work together has helped their marriage do a 180. And I couldn't think of a better compliment than to hear that. So I'm sharing this because I want you to experience this too, because your life is meant to be enjoyed, right? No matter what's going on in life, mom life will always have something going on, okay? And I know that life has proven this to you, from the ER visits because your child busted open their chin. True story. This happened earlier this year. The sports, right? Having to shuttle kids to different events, job stress, you name it, right? Like life has no shortage of surprises for us. And the best thing we can do is learn to ride the waves, okay? So my clients typically come to me because they're feeling overwhelmed by life and motherhood. They're arguing with their spouse a lot more, having trouble handling conflict as a team, finding it difficult to speak with their spouse when they're feeling emotional, right? Like they feel like it's really just takes over them and the conversation gets derailed, right? No longer feels productive. They feel disconnected as a couple and feel more like co parenting roommates. And after the 12 weeks of us working together, my clients are able to be happier, feel less stressed, feel more present with their family, work through their anger, frustration, resentment, and bounce back from arguments easier and quicker. They're able to communicate more effectively so they can feel seen and heard. They can resolve issues together as a team and grow closer as a couple each and every time. Because that is the point of the conflict, okay? That is the point. Not to disrupt your life, but to grow as a couple, okay? And they also get to laugh more and actually enjoy their marriage like they intended, okay? Like the couple that I am talking about today, the wife told me that she feels smitten again, okay? Like they've been together forever. They're like high school sweethearts, okay? So they've been married for a really long time. And to be able to say that, you know that this is working for them, okay? And all of this, all the things that I just shared are possible for you too, but you've got to know what your marriage needs from you, okay? And you do this by staying in your own lane, okay? Most couples go wrong because they focus on what their spouse is doing wrong and how it's negatively impacting them and letting that affect how they show up as a spouse. So, like, if your husband is not planning dates for you, you're like, you know what? Whatever. I'm not going to do it either. I'm not going to put in the work if you're not. I'm only going to do stuff once you start doing stuff. It's very much a When you do this, then I'll do that. Okay. And that mentality is not going to get you the marriage that you want. Okay. That's very much a reactive type of response when really you need a more intentional response. You've got to decide what kind of spouse you need to be for your marriage to become what you want it to be. Just as much as how your husband's actions and words affect you, the same goes in reverse. What you do impacts your husband as well. So if you're both approaching marriage from a stance of, well, once you start doing this and then I'm going to do that, but you're both doing that and you're both reluctant to make moves towards each other, to lean on each other, to make strides to actually build the relationship, you're not going anywhere together. Okay? So instead of playing the blame game, which is really a game that no one wins, shift your focus onto yourself. Learn what you want and need, what your limits are, how to regulate your emotions, and effective communication. When you focus on your own personal growth, you'll be able to have the capacity to share how you feel, share what you want, what you need, and feel more resilient from life's stressors, or marital challenges. You won't get derailed by your emotions and end up yelling, avoiding, blaming, criticizing, whatever you do. Okay. Instead, you're going to be able to have deeper conversations about what the real issues are so you can address it as a couple and move forward feeling closer together as a strong team. You'll actually want to connect and have fun doing it, right? Imagine that, right? So you remember back when you were dating, you couldn't wait to hang out, right? You couldn't wait for that time to come. You're getting all dolled up and you're excited to hang out. You're eager to see what you're going to do, what core memories you're going to create together. What if you can get back to that place as parents, right? Not empty nesting kind of parents, but parents who are still in it, who are still raising kids, okay? So when you focus on learning more about yourself, that's when you can approach conflict with a solid understanding of what you're dealing with and have more productive conversations where things actually get resolved and you two can move on to talk about more important things, or dare I say, spend more time connecting, right? When you focus on yourself, this allows your husband to be able to have the space to feel and think for himself instead of trying to guess what you need from him. He'll be able to share what he needs, and you two can both support each other in being satisfied in the marriage. Okay, because it takes two. There are two experiences in the marriage that matter, you and your husband's. And if listening to this feels like I'm describing your challenges and what you want, and you want to be able to do this and you want the support, reach out to me, okay? I will leave a link for you to schedule a call with me so that we can talk about what's going on in your marriage, right? Like what challenges are you dealing with that are really causing a lot of frustration and anger or even resentment that has you feeling unhappy in your marriage. And then we'll get to talk about what your goals are and how coaching can help you get the marriage that you want and turn it around, right? Be able to say, oh, my marriage has done a 180 in a matter of 12 weeks. Okay. So, like, before summer even ends, imagine being able to feel completely different about your marriage than you do today. Your marriage is meant to be enjoyed. And just because you weren't taught how to do that while being parents and also being human, right? It doesn't mean you can't. So reach out, let's talk. I would love to help you, and I am accepting new clients. Whether you want to work together as a couple or as an individual, I am here for you. I've helped many women turn their marriage around without ever having met their husband. Now, obviously, It's much faster if we can work together as a couple, but know that just because your husband is not interested in talking to someone about it or doing the personal growth work, it doesn't mean that things can't change, okay? Now, we talked about the power of his influence on you. You also have the power to influence him just by showing up as the wife that has the kind of marriage that you want, okay? Now, work on those things. If you want support, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about what coaching can do for you. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. I would so appreciate that. And if you love what I share here, then you're going to love and want to join my free private Facebook community that's also called Marriage and Motherhood. I hope to see and connect with you in there. I'll catch you back here next week for the next episode. Bye.